Welcome back to the new week, and today what I wanted to talk about was something. I mean, it's not really a new problem, it's been a problem for a long time, probably since magic first started, is the idea of instant gratification. I do think that this has become a lot more apparent in our modern age. We kind of live in this instant coffee, just add water and mix, fast food type society where we don't have a lot of time. We have to do all of our things. We have to do work. We have to look after the family. We have to clean the house. We have to socialize. We have to do all these things, and we don't have much time left for magic. And therefore, a lot of people will go for the instant gratification thing. The difficulty here is that it creates a lot of misconception. I've had quite a few people over the years who kind of come to me and say, I chanted the N for whoever, or I said the mantra for this deity, or I did X, Y, and Z and nothing's happened. And then when I go back and ask, well, what's your experience in magic? Do you do meditation every day? Have you done ritual? Do you do banishings? None of it. It's a complete beginner who has done absolutely no magic, who has done no training, who has done no study. All that's happened is the person has come across a video on YouTube or a website or something like that, and it's basically said that in order for you to become rich, just chant this mantra or say this N, contact this spirit and it will happen. It doesn't, unfortunately. There's a lot of work that has to go into all of this, and there's a lot of reasons for that. It's not just a case of learning how to quiet the mind, learning how to do visualization, how to do concentration and focus on an item, in order to bring your mind into one-pointed focus, so that when you're doing spell work, you're in that one-pointed focus. How to move into trance states, how to actually communicate with spirits, and devotional rituals, all of these things. There's lots and lots and lots of things that we need to practice before we can get to that point where we're actually communicating with the spirits and asking them for help. And that's another area of this which becomes a bit difficult, is that when we go to the spirits, whether it's the gods or the goddesses, the deities, the divine intelligences, the jinn, the Goesha spirits, the demons, the angels, whatever it is, these higher intelligences, we are told to kind of ask them for something and they will bring it to us. They are there as a means to an end, and that's how it kind of gets viewed. These spirits are there as a means to an end. They become a tool, and these tools are there to grant our desires. That's not how this works at all. I suppose I am kind of guilty of this as well. I do say it's quite easy to communicate with the spirits. It is easy to communicate with the spirits, but only after you've done all of the preliminary foundational work. You have to do all of that foundational work. You can't build a house without creating a foundation. So you have to remember that there is no instant gratification. If you see a video on YouTube that says just chant this mantra or chant this N and you'll get all of your desires brought to you, no, you won't. And we actually find this a lot. I see this a lot in forums and such regarding Hinduism and the chanting of the mantras of the various deities. Somebody will say that if you chant the mantra for Shiva or Vishnu or Lakshmi is probably the greatest example here. If you chant the mantra of Lakshmi for a period of time, then you'll get money. All of your desires will be met. Yes, it can happen. But the problem is what people are doing is they are sitting down each day and they're just chanting the N, and after 30 days or 60 days or whatever period is assigned, they come back and they say nothing's happened, nothing's changed. In fact, things have gotten worse. And it's because what they're doing is, all they are doing is sitting down and chanting the mantra. There is no devotion. There is no love. There's no bhakti. And, if we don't have that love and that devotion for the spirits that we are trying to communicate with, then you're not going to call them. They're not going to do anything for you. There's no relationship being built. And that's the difference, is that we need to build those relationships. And when we build those relationships, they'll want to do things for us. They'll want to help us. They'll want to bring us those fortunes and everything else. It might not be fortunes. You might not become rich or something like that, but you'll have a nice, steady life that you don't have to worry about. But it's the devotion, the love, the bhakti that is missing. And this is where things get difficult. And this is where people who are saying, just do this, chant this N, chant this mantra, and you'll get everything you want. The spirit will bring it to you. It's wrong. It's just wrong. There's actually something else that I was asked in the past, or what was expected of me as a spiritual teacher, was that I can initiate somebody into various practices. It may be scrying, it may be ancestral work, it may be whatever it is, whatever practice it is. I can initiate a person into that, and they instantly are able to do it. There's no work involved, there's no study, there's no practice, there's no years and years of slogging away, blood, sweat and tears, to get to that point where you can do a particular practice. I can't do that. Nobody can do that. Maybe in some traditions it's possible, but even if somebody was able to initiate you into a practice, there's all that foundational stuff that needs to take place first before you can get to that. We kind of study and we practice for years and years and years, and we might get to a point where you are initiated into a tradition or initiated into a particular path of practice. And through that initiation, we are connected to a particular current, and therefore those practices do come a little easier. But we have to still do the practice. We've got to do the work. We've got to study and learn. It's not just, you wake up one day and you decide, oh, I want to know how to read tarot cards, and then seek somebody out and they initiate you into the reading of tarot cards. And this is a real thing. People think people can do this for them, that they don't have to do the study, they don't have to put in the work, and they can just get instantly initiated into a particular practice and they can just go ahead and do it. It doesn't work like that. I'm really, really sorry to tell everybody, it really doesn't work like that. You've got to study, you've got to do the work, and if you are wanting to work with spirits, then you have got to create a relationship. You have got to create a devotion and a love for that particular spirit that you want to work with. Without that devotion and love, there's no connection, and without a connection, nothing can be done. There's no energy flow, there's nothing moving. And without that energy flow, there's no movement back and forward. You can say the N, you can repeat the N or chant the mantra till the day you die. There's no love, there's no devotion, there's no will, there's no desire. There's nothing there to make the energy flow. All you're doing is saying words. Okay, so you've got to build, if you want to work with spirits, you've got to build relationships. We do have the classical method of the Goesha and the old medieval grimoires within ceremonial magic, where the person is calling up a demon and forcing that demon to do what it wants. And we have this particular perspective that people see and they think, well, I can tell a demon to go bring me whatever I want. No. Apart from the fact that that's disrespectful to the demons, within that context, you have people working ceremonial magic and working the Goesha in that fashion who have spent years and years doing study, doing practice, and they have created a connection with Adonai, with a particular spirit which is able to elevate them to a certain point where they gain dominance. Okay? That's a big difference, huge big difference. You can't just do what it says in the Goesha, create the circle, do all the chant, do all the recitations and everything else, and just expect this demon to pop up and, do your bidding. There's a whole process that goes before that, and it takes years and years of study and practice. So please understand that there is no such thing as instant gratification or initiation into something which just instantly makes you able to do X, Y, and Z without any work being done. You have to do the study, you have to do the work, you have to, you're going to go through literally blood, sweat, and tears before you get to that point where you can do it. And it's just important to understand that. All right, so I don't want to get down on anybody, but it's something that we all need to understand. So anyway, all right, so I'm going to leave it there. Oh, what I am going to do, because I've brought it up several times now in the past, is the idea of working the spirit model or not working the spirit model. If you when it comes to working with the spirits and creating that devotion and that love, that bhakti, then what some people have difficulty with is that, we can verbally say, I believe that the spirits are real, they are entities, separate entities from us with intelligence. It's easy to say that, but it's sometimes difficult to actually believe it, and believe it with your entire being. And quite often this can come from somebody who is coming from a Christian background and they have kind of lost faith. They're moving from Christianity into some kind of magical path or spiritual path, which is separate from that. But what you find is that they've lost their faith. They don't believe that this God is a real thing, and that gets transferred over. So when they start trying to work with spirits, they may say they believe that the spirits are real, intelligent beings, but they don't really believe it. And it's difficult. It's one of those programming things that we have to kind of get over. All right, but if you find that you don't really believe that the spirits are real, and you're trying to work with the spirits, it's not going to work. You're going to hold yourself back. You're going to create a wall or a barrier, which is going to prevent you from working that particular spirit model. There are other models. There's the energy model, the psychology model. So what I'm going to do is next week is the book review. The week after, I'm going to continue doing the path series where I discuss particular paths. This month I talked about the isms, all the various different isms that we get. So what I'm going to do next week as a support to that and a continuation or kind of an introduction into the path series again is I'm going to talk about the spirit model. There was Frotto UD who wrote a very good outline of 5 different models of magic. So I'm going to delve into that, going to bring that up and have a look at each model individually and discuss them within that series. Okay, all right, so anyway, so that's that. So I'll see you next week for the book review. Have a good one for now. Bye bye.